2007 to go to graduate school. So I was going to go to do a 5-year program to get my degree in my master's degree in public health and then my doctorate of veterinary medicine. And while I was in the master's degree program, I realized how much I really loved kids. And the vision kept coming to my mind because people in my program said, I can't wait to stop talking about all this stupid human medicine stuff. You get it right, Melissa. But I didn't really get it because I just kept having visions of someone coming into my clinic as a veterinarian and them caring more about their dog than their child. And I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. So I told the vet school, I'm sorry, I'm not coming anymore. And I felt so free from that. But I finished out my master's degree thinking, what am I going to do now? I want to have something that I want to have such a passion for it that I'm really excited about it, but it's actually making a difference. So I started using the skills that I'd acquired at Learning RX, doing design and marketing and taking clients. So I started working with clients all over the country, doing creative projects for them and branding. But then it wasn't until I got connected to local ministries at New Life that I helped them start a ministry called Dream Centers for, there's a free women's healthcare clinic and an apartment unit called Mary's Home for single homeless moms and their kids. And they also said, hey, we're looking for people to start this camp for foster kids. Do you want to be part of it? And I thought, yes, I do. But I had no idea what it meant. I didn't really think about foster kids, which is crazy because my 2 youngest siblings are both adopted out of foster care. But I didn't think about why they were in the homes that they were taken out of their homes, I should say. Well, my sister has 5 or 6 siblings that she doesn't even know. She doesn't for sure know who her father is. And she doesn't know that 5 or 6 are the only siblings that she has. And I remember she was a little girl and she would have to go visit her biological mom. This was before she was adopted. And she would scream in bloody murder and run behind a couch or the chair or hold onto my mom's legs, and she wouldn't let go because she didn't want to go visit her mom. And one time, her mom, who was a massage therapist, was with her pimp boyfriend, and he was mad at them. It was the middle of January in Wisconsin, and they kicked them out of the car, and they had to walk back 2 miles home. No jacket. She was probably 3, maybe 4. And I couldn't understand why she had to go do this. I was not that much older than her. And so it was really confusing as a little girl. She was terrified of men. She was scared of my brothers. I have 3 older brothers. She was terrified of my dad. Finally, when she was about 7, my family adopted her. And my parents said, do not answer the phone with our last name. We used to say, hello, Tenpas. Just say hello, because her family might try and come get her. And I was just a little girl, and in my mind, I thought, there's these men coming with guns trying to steal my sister away. And then when I was in middle school, there was a little boy named Zach, that's my youngest brother, who he was in several foster homes, and they begged my family, please take this boy in, please take this boy in. We had to pull the license of the family that he's with now. I have no idea what happened. So my parents finally relented. They already had 5 kids and thought, I don't know if we can take in another one. Took him in and adopted him a couple of years later. But they're both of them seeing their lives, and my sister especially, I'd say, is a miracle. But seeing the trajectory of their lives from the trauma and what they still deal with, it all ties in with Royal Family. So we'll watch this video and then I'll explain a little bit more.
We spend hundreds of billions of dollars, our country does, nonprofit organizations do, rehabilitating. We have to spend our money preventing. And that's what this organization is about. It's the mission of Royal Family Kids to help transform communities around the country and the world by interrupting the cycles of neglect, abuse, and abandonment of children in the foster care system. We get an array of children. In every case, though, these children have been neglected In many cases, they've been abused physically and or sexually.
I grew up in foster care ever since I was 3 weeks old, all the way up until I was 22 years old. I grew up in a total of 6 homes. My first home, my foster mom, she passed away with cancer. I was with her for 8 years. Second home, I was with her for 8 years as well, and that's when I was introduced to Royal Family Kids.
So RFK is known as a camp, and it is very much a 5-day camp held in 43 states in hundreds of communities. So a camp is vital for these kids because most of them never experience a vacation. They never experience setting where it's safe to be a kid.
We're already trying to subside the trauma that they've been through. Their trauma took place in a relationship. I mean, whether it's mom, dad, or someone else, the trauma was relationship related. So what's happening at Royal Family? We're building relationships with these kids.
So Royal Family Kids has changed a lot in my life. It helped me find my identity because growing up in different homes, sometimes you lose that. You forget who you are. So I remember like, okay, I'm a child of God. I'm beautiful. I am courageous and adventurous. So it just reminded me of who I was.
So camp is the powerful way, but we also mentor these children. We have mentoring clubs for them. These are phenomenal year-long programs where these children who spend 5 days together are also able to come together every single month. So these children finally have somebody who they can turn to. We can solve this problem. We're already doing it, but we need your help.
If we can do some preventive work, and if we could invest upfront in these kids, we are going to drastically change the trajectory of their lives. And what we're going to do then is build stronger communities. And I think all of those things are a very good reason to get involved with Royal Family Kids.
You can make a difference. You can volunteer. You can share us on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter. You can make a donation. You can go to our website and find the Royal Family chapter in your community and call the director. Not everybody could be a foster parent, but everybody can make a difference. We can do this together.
I'm inspired by that, and I'm already involved. I think, the stat at the beginning, 442,000 is the average on a given day in the United States. So I don't know that anyone's figured this out, and I'm trying to figure out how to determine this number, but how many kids alive, or how many people alive in the United States, out of how many do we have, 300 million people, have ever been in foster care or adopted or in an orphanage? Because there's still people alive that were in an orphanage. So the United States got rid of orphanages. Yay, we're getting them in homes. I wish I could say that all foster families were amazing. But let me give you a little bit of detail, and then I'll go into some of the stories. But every year, we take 72 foster kids from El Paso County. So we're one of the biggest camps in the country. And the reason that Royal Family is different is, first of all, we understand trauma. So we understand how to train people with trauma-informed care and a really great intervention called trust-based relational intervention, TBRI. So it's really figuring out how to get to a kid's level, how to give them words to share what they're feeling and thinking, and really empower them. Because the kids that we take are 6 to 12 years old, and for the most part, they've had zero choice in their life. Zero. You don't have much choice as a kid anyway, but then you're told you're leaving, you're being taken away from your family. Maybe they're woken in the middle of the night and they're taken out of their home, and they literally move from house to house with a garbage bag with a few belongings in it. And then when they go to a new foster home, some foster families are in it because they have huge hearts. And if the child becomes available to adopt, they want to take them in and adopt them. But we have families who are in it only for the money. And thankfully, that's a small minority. But I am not kidding you. We had one lady who sent 4 kids to camp about 5 years ago. And the kids came back excited to tell all these stories from camp. And she said, "Mister, we need to talk about your grades," because and she just laid into him. Didn't say, "Hello, I'm so glad to see you. How was your camp week?" And she said to me, "I need to get more foster kids because I am 45 years old and I am not going back to work." What? Wow. Well, the kids had told some things, and there were some medical issues with the little girls that we talked to DHS about. And they were investigating the family. And guess what? The family moved to another state not long after that. So in my mind, I still think, what happened to those kids? But there's kids every year that come not believing they're going somewhere good. They're constantly lied to. Promises are never kept. They don't trust that they're actually going somewhere to meet safe, kind people, because after a while they stop believing anybody can be safe or kind. Now, we work with the Department of Human Services, DHS. They know exactly what goes on at camp because we're the only camp in the country that I know of that has 3 or 4 managers, supervisors, or caseworkers come to camp with us for the week. The cool part about that is that when things come up and kids divulge things, we can talk to them right away. They know exactly what we're doing. At camp, we spend 5 days with the kids, and we pair them with there's 2 kids, we call them little campers, 2 kids with 1 adult big camper. That's a camp counselor. But since a lot of these kids have counselors, we call them big campers. So imagine, we had some people come in and say, okay, so I'll probably get like 10 kids, right? No, you only have 2 kids. So those kids are known, they're loved, they're cared for. Now, if we did nothing else at camp, the thing that we want them to come away with at the end is to know the love and hope of Jesus. So that is with the blessing and thumbs up of the Department of Human Services, a government organization. So they come to camp, we bring them up on charter buses. It's called Royal Family Kids. I don't have the logo up here, but the logo is a crown, and it's 2 kids. Each of them are holding out a hand, and then there's an adult in the middle forming this crown. So it's that whole idea of that relationship and healing through relationship. And so the kids come on charter buses. I'm up there announcing, hello, Krista, good morning, everybody. Everybody, we have 80 adults come, volunteers. I'm a volunteer. I run this as a volunteer. I've been running it as a volunteer for 8 years. And they get off the bus and we welcome them and everybody's cheering. We have signs that have their names on it. We know they're coming. That's something Young Life does really well, welcomes people royally. So we want to treat people royally, make moments matter, and create positive memories for these kids. So they come off the bus thinking, what in the world? These people are crazy. And within a couple hours, they are just so excited to be at camp because they have someone that cares about them, that knows them. So every day we have what we call Breakfast Club, and that's where we get to sing songs all about Jesus. They're really fun camp songs. We have puppet skits, we have object lessons, we have all kinds of games, and then we have 3 or 4 hours of free time. So that's where they get to decide if they want to go horseback riding or canoeing or kayaking or archery or slingshot, or maybe they want to paint something. And so it's also those teachable moments to say, hey, your fellow little camper wants to go horseback riding now, but you want to go paint. So trying to understand how to compromise and work together. But they see the schedule we have. So we're going to eat 3 times a day. I have a choice. I can choose to go swimming or not. What? And so we start to build in them. There are adults that can be trustworthy. We can keep our promises. We can follow through. They thrive in that safe environment, and they know exactly. We empower them right away. This is your bed and your bed only. People are not allowed to touch you anywhere your swimsuit touches. We're telling them, if anything, giving them words. Tell an adult, all the adults here are safe, but we want you to feel safe and we want you to feel loved. And then we have lunch, and we go back out and have more fun, and then we have chapel time. This year, our theme is the sheepfold. So we're talking all about Jesus as the Good Shepherd. And we have a great drama, and we get to have a Bible story time. So the cool thing is, 8 years ago, I got connected to the guy that started Royal Family Kids over 30 years ago, Wayne Tesh. And Wayne said, Melissa, I heard you've done curriculum. Thankful to Learning RX for that. You've done curriculum, you do design. How would you feel about doing our curriculum? So now I get to partner with the Royal Family National Office every year to write their drama, to do their curriculum, to create all this stuff. So now my work gets to be like every kid in the country. Collectively, there's over 250 camps here in the US and another 20 to 30 camps around the world. taking kids. So in the US alone, we're taking 6 to 7% of the foster care population to camp. That's amazing. So think about it. We're getting, I see with Dream Centers, I see these women who have been in foster care, who've been traumatized, who are in domestic violence. Why are they choosing these things, right? That's what they've seen at home. Last year, we had a little boy. I'll call him Sam. And Sam, this was only his second time at camp, but the first time I'd seen him was 5 years ago. So 5 years ago, he came to camp with 2 of his brothers, and it was such a struggle to get him to camp because he and his brothers are back with biological mom. And biological mom said, no, they can't go. And his caseworker said, no, they should go. And it was this fight. And well, now mom's not capable of filling out the application. It was just one excuse after the next. And I'm not pointing fingers. There were reasons that these kids were taken away in the first place. So we finally got them to camp. Here's this little boy. And I remember we had these little cardboard masks like at a masquerade ball, and he was coloring it in. And I said, oh, I love that. It's so beautiful. It's so colorful. Can you teach me how to do that? No, maybe I just was exclaiming how beautiful it was. And he said, let me show you how to do it. So for the next hour, we're sitting coloring this, and we're just talking. And every day after that, he insisted on making stuff for me and showing me. It was the little moment. Making moments matter. Then I made him understand, you are interesting. You have something to give back to the world. So we got back to the church. Mom came to pick him up. Here's this whole bag of woodworking things and arts and crafts and everything. And she took it all, threw it all in the trash. Okay, my anger rose pretty quickly. And the 3 kids and their 2 of the guys that had been their big campers went out because, of course, this brought on copious tears immediately from all 3 of the boys. And then mom's new boyfriend picked this kid up by the shoulders, picked him up around the ankles, and threw him in the back of a pickup truck. We're going home, right? Well, obviously they could see that we were all sitting there just floored. Like, here's this amazing week we just spent pouring into these kids and loving them. And then and then she comes in and does that. So I look out and see 2 of my friends, Brian and Bobby, 6'2", tall guys, just holding onto each other, just bawling their eyeballs out. Because Brian was the one that had worked with mom to get the kids there in the first place. So here comes mom, comes back, no shoes on, pajama pants, pretty sure no bra on either, just whatever. I'm coming to church getting my junk kids. That's the way she was communicating that. And she came up with little Sam, and I leaned down and I said, hey, buddy, did you have a good week? No. He was crying, and I said, oh, gosh, he doesn't even want to admit he liked camp because who knows what mom's going to do. So fast forward, Sam's back at camp with his younger brother, whom I've never met. So they came to camp, and Sam was angry. He was growling like possessed by demons, which I wouldn't have been completely surprised about. And I would say every day, hey, Sam, it's freaking me out to even do that. So he was close to punching kids. He was just really angry, and I'm not surprised. So Brian and I had a discussion. What do we do about Sam? We don't want to send him home because Brian said, if we send him home, I guarantee he's going to get the brunt of it from his mom. So what do? He's a danger to other kids. So Brian was able to talk to him and said, hey, if we see this, or this again, we're going to have to really consider sending you home. We don't want to say this is black and white, you are done. But now he can start thinking, I can have a choice in how my behavior comes out, right, toward other people. And so the next day, I saw a complete shift in his behavior. He didn't want to go home. What kid would want to leave paradise, right? Well, at camp this last year, we implemented a thing. We just give out these little Mardi Gras beads. And we'd say, hey, Larry, I caught you doing good because I saw you were so kind to Vicky when you guys were walking and she tripped and you helped her. It was so nice of you. I caught you doing good. Now what I want you to do is keep that necklace if you want, or if you see someone else doing good, you pass it on. So I saw Sam, and I had a kid's name tag. Everybody's name is important, so they have name tags on. And I said, Sam, Connor lost his name tag. Would you help me find him? Yes, I'll help you find him. I mean, kid was growling at me like a demon the day before. So we went and found Connor, and I thought, gosh, this is a good moment to give him some of those beats. So I went and found Sam, and I said, Sam, I caught you doing good. I just want to thank you. You, right away, immediately, you said yes to helping me. And you made Connor so happy because he was really stressed out that he couldn't find his name tag. Thank you for doing that. Again, you can keep these or you can pass them on. I didn't see them on him too long. He, called out somebody else for doing good. We don't know what's going to happen when he goes home because he's not in a good situation. They've been in and out of foster homes. They've been back to mom. They've been in residential treatment. They've been in group homes. I mean, it's just not good. But hopefully the seed of Jesus was planted in his mind and they were able to go back and maybe make a different decision. Again, we're not their savior, but we're introducing them to their savior, and that's awesome. So on Tuesday, we have a tea party for the girls, so they get dressed up. They take hours trying to decide on dresses. We have about 100 dresses. They all pick these dresses out and shoes that are like this much too big for them, and heels that are 5 inches. So cute, these little 6-year-olds. Some of them are wearing wedding dresses. And then the boys this year, we're doing a knighting ceremony. So we're trying to really develop that and pour in. This is masculinity, and masculinity is not a bad thing and it's not a scary thing, but if we redirect your anger and you can learn how to raise right. So we're pouring into that. Wednesday is everybody's birthday. Most of these kids had never had a birthday party. They've never gotten a birthday cake. They've never been told, I am glad you're born. I'm so glad. You're a gift to this world. No, you're junk. You're garbage. You're a mistake. I get chills saying this stuff because I can't imagine ever saying these things to a human being. These kids are very triggered by this because why didn't my dad ever do this for me? Why didn't my mom ever tell me that I was special? So we wake up, good morning, it's your birthday. Some of the 6-year-olds are super confused. I'm 7 today? I thought my birthday was in August. Okay. So by the time they leave camp, they're like 30 years old because I've had so many birthdays. So in the afternoon, we have a really fun carnival-like birthday. And then we have an epic water balloon fight. We had to separate out the two because at first it was literally just a water balloon fight that became a mud fight. So now we separate out the two a little bit with 3,000 water balloons, and I bring my own backpack full of silly string because it's more fun that way. And then we give everybody a birthday present and a birthday card. And Thursday night, we have Royal Family Kids Got Talent. So the kids have been working on something all year. They might burp the alphabet. They might kick dirt because literally one kid said, I said, you're a really good you're a really good dirt kicker. He said, I'm kicking dust. I'm a dust kicker. I'm like, well, you're really good at it. Or they want to show how good they're at rock climbing, so they get a big ladder and climb. I'm like, everybody on your feet. Everybody, every act, everybody's on their feet screaming. We are totally, totally hoarse by the end of the night. And I've been up there because some of the kids insist on me coming up for some act or whatever. And I feel overwhelmed, like, thank you. Oh my God. It's crazy, but I'm like, we want this to be more exciting than the Tonys, the Oscars, and the Grammys, or whatever other, awards show combined. And then we also have a pancake toss breakfast. So Friday morning, we'll flip the pancakes way up in the air and see if the kids can catch them. If they don't, we still give them food. Don't worry about that. But then Friday, we have to say farewell to them. So thankfully, after our second year of camp, we were able to implement the mentoring club program. So adults that we've chosen to come serve at camp and kids that came to camp can be paired 1-to-1 for a mentoring program for the school year. So that means that mentors go see the kids or hang out with kids once a week for an hour, and then once a month come to a little miniature camp experience. So it's been amazing over the last 9 years. We've taken almost 500 kids. It's hard to keep track of them at this point because many of them, once they're adopted, change their name, first name and last name. So I'll say, hi, Blaze. I am not Blaze, I'm Annabelle. Sorry, Annabelle. It's going to take me a little bit to get used to it. We've known them with these names for so long. But the cool thing about Royal Family Kids also is that normally kids would never, ever, these kids would never go to summer camp. And summer camp's expensive. So Royal Family Kids cost $500 per child to go to camp. We only pass on a $25 registration fee per child because we've seen if you give it completely free, there's no value to many of the people. And those are the kids that don't show up, or the ones that haven't paid anything. So even if it's, let's say, a bio mom or bio parent, I can't pay the $25. I'm on food stamps. I have all these. Can you pay me $5? How can you make me? So I don't want to lose the kids, but I want the parents too to start thinking that they're not just give me. So throughout the community, this is our desire, is to really reshape these kids. So 10, 20, 30 years down the road, they're choosing and seeing, and again, back to the family model, we have a camp grandpa and grandma, we have two sets of grandpas or grandmas. Maybe they're going to see, gosh, grandpa and grandma have been married for 30 years. I don't know anybody in my family that's been married for more than, nobody's been married. Or maybe they've only been married for 2 or 30 times. They've been married 30 times. We had one kid that said to his big camper, this big camper, Josh, and his wife, Jamie, were about to have a baby. And he said, so Josh, when Jamie has the baby, are you going to beat the baby like my parents beat me? Oh my gosh. Josh was just, no, I would never hurt my baby. I would never hurt you. I mean, this is the normal for these kids. There's a book called The Body Keeps the Score by a doctor named Bessel van der Kolk, and he's really saying, look at how many medical issues there are related to trauma. And I don't have the stats on this, I'd have to read, but like my brother Zach has asthma, and it says kids of trauma are 43% more likely to have asthma than the rest of the population. And it's just like this trauma and the stress hormones, because there's cortisol, stress hormone, flows through your body for 30 days after a stressful event. Some of these kids are in stress every single day. Every day. So think about how that changes your brain. Your brain is washed in cortisol. You're just stressed all the time. And now you are just ready. What are you going to do? If you're stressed, you're going to be ready to fight. You're going to be ready to figure out how to survive, right? So here they come to camp, and here comes Larry. Hi, how are you? Right? But if they keep seeing that Larry is just being nice to everybody, Larry wants nothing but to just be kind and loving. And then he talks about this guy named Jesus. What? Maybe I can have a different choice in my life, right? And that's what we're excited about with Royal Family Kids. I don't know how much time we have, but we do have a video. Yeah, and then I can talk about the penguin. Yeah.
Maybe take some questions?
Yeah, that's good.
We'll go through the details about anything.
Perfect. So this is the story of a girl who actually went to Royal Family Kids and was, well, I won't tell you. I'll just once. Okay.
For over 2 decades, Royal Family Kids has been confronting abuse and changing lives. They serve children who have been neglected, children who have been the innocent victims of every type of abuse imaginable. Royal Family Kids has introduced hope into the story of thousands and thousands of children of abuse. This is Samantha's story.
Someone called to get me out of my house, and I have no idea who it was. All I know is the police showed up at the door with social workers and caseworkers, and I don't know who called. And I was like, it was an angel then. God was there with me, and he was like, okay, it's time for this to end. And he made someone feel compassionate enough to call, and that's how I was saved.
If Samantha had not been taken out of her original home, she probably would have wound up dead at some point. And nobody would have known, and nobody would have missed her, because nobody knew about her. Samantha was considered to be the worst case of abuse in Greene County, Missouri.
I was abused from 5 to 8. So at 5, most kids don't remember a lot. But from what happened to me, I remember just about everything. memories of what my dad's did to me.
You could tell she had been an abused kid. She had lots of scars on her body. Her hair was really messed up, very tiny, had been malnourished.
I never knew what was going to happen, when was going to happen. So I was scared most of the time.
Samantha had to use liquid soap if she wanted to brush her teeth. She had to eat on the floor. When she was thirsty and didn't want the parents to hear the water running, well, she took off the back of the toilet and scooped up water in the back of the toilet to drink.
When I'd be taken to the basement to get beaten, I'd be like, am I going to get out of here alive? So there's still times in life where like something happens or someone says something and it just like hits me and it's just like a slap in the face.
When I first met her at camp, she never smiled.
There was nothing happy in my life, so why would I need to be smiling for anything?
By the end of the week of camp, she was smiling. We have pictures of her smiling, which was just an amazing change.
You know, it was the best week of my life, my summer. For the first time in 8 years, I had fun, and I was treated like a normal kid. These were the very first of my life. I don't remember any time in the past where I was given a gift.
She had never been swimming. She had never been fishing. Just a lot of things that she had never done before. She was very eager to participate in all the activities.
But these are the first where you're just extremely happy. And 10 years later, I still remember them. And this camp is important. It does change lives.
We're there to touch these kids, but at the same time, these kids touch our hearts as well.
He knows my name. He knows my every thought. He sees each tear that falls and hears me when I call.
Samantha was just like on the edge of her seat, just waiting for the opportunity to come back to camp and to serve.
I get to be a counselor for the first time, and I am so excited. I cannot wait till camp. This is my chance to make a difference in their life. Never going to camp would completely have changed my life. You know, I wouldn't be where I am today. I wouldn't be with the family I was. You know, that's where I met my mom. She fell in love with me there.
I think we can make an amazing difference in a child's life. If Samantha hadn't have gone to Royal Family, I just wonder, would she have the hope? Would she have the successes? Would she have the achievement?
And not going to camp, would I still be bouncing from foster family to foster family? Would I have ended up, you know, on the streets, running away? Without camp, you know, life would completely be different.
I think God saw Samantha. He looked down on this little girl, and I think he just, he has intervened. She was a child that should have had so many difficulties, so many problems, so many disorders to overcome. And to look at where she was and where she is today, I mean, God's just done a huge work in her life.
So Samantha today is a high school teacher, and I can't remember, there's another video that shows a little bit more about her. Yeah, what she's doing now. So like I said, we have about 80 people come to camp with us as volunteers. We are still looking for more people to help with that. So we have an online application. With every volunteer, we have them go through FBI background checks, the application. We do a half-hour in-person interview with everyone. And then, excuse me, the people that are chosen to come to a 12-hour training on what is Royal Family Kids, why are these kids different? You know, we always say plan for the worst, expect the best. So you'll read their bios, and these kids have such trauma and so much hurt and abuse that, first of all, their stories are unbelievable. And then you also think, man, they're showing so many behaviors. They seem like they would be a danger. And we were so nervous about it, our first camp, which is about 8 years ago. And we thought, oh no, these kids all need to be one-on-one. And DHS was so nervous. And we saw none of those behaviors at camp. None of them. And now we're just like, oh, I mean, unless they have delusions of killing people, we're taking them to camp. You know, we know how to handle them. We know how to diffuse situations. We know how to redirect, and we know what camp does. So on Thursday of camp, a lot, you know, that's when the kids will realize, gosh, I have to go home tomorrow. That's when we have kids that will be runners. And so we'll have, usually it's the boys, and we'll pair them, knowing ahead of time they're probably runners. We'll pair them with athletic guys that can just keep up with them, radio us. We always have a 2 deep rule, so we always have 2 adults, so we need 2 guys to go run. But just like the kids are thinking, am I worth you running after me? Are you going to pay attention to me? Are you going to follow me? Or are you going to let me just disappear? Because that's what everybody else has done. So we go with them, just take your time, but I'm here. So when you're ready, come talk to me. As Larry said, we have a banquet on Tuesday the 26th. So if you want to come, that would be great. There is a dinner, and it's not a rubber chicken. We have steak or vegetable Wellington. It's going to be great. And then we'll have a program. And
now we've only got a couple more days to register that.
You can, yeah, that's not on, but
Yeah,
I like that you have your microphone.
So we have a couple more days to register people.
You can actually register until Friday. Well, we need to
Okay.
give the final count to the Antlers on Friday.
Okay.
So there's online registration. It's free to attend, but we do need people to register.
Okay, and so it's Tuesday night, the 26th, from 6 o'clock till 9?
9.
9.
Mhm.
I'm going to go get a yell pad and circulate around. If you would like to have us register you, or should they?
Yeah, I
register
have
directly?
some handouts too, so I have all the links that you would need if you want to go register.
Okay.
But you can
that'd
choose
be a-
Larry as
that'd be
your
a good
table
way.
host.
We'd like
for
to
that.
know which you guys are coming.
Yeah.
So that's one. And then the other is opportunities to participate in camp. And when is camp?
Camp is June 2nd through the 7th. So we head up a day before camp. So Royal Family Kids is required to run under a thriving local church. So I go to New Life. I go to New Life downtown. So we have a commissioning service on June 2nd, and then we all head up and get camp ready for the week. And then the kids come on Monday.
Okay.
But there's other opportunities that the week before camp, well, yeah, let me give you a couple. So there's the week-long opportunity. There's also, if people are interested in being part of the tea party, part of the birthday party team, or part of the knighting ceremony, that would be a one-day thing. So that would require an application and then being connected to those team leaders, but not coming to the entire 12 hours of training, just the first night, which is 4 hours.
Okay.
And then
Okay, so let me stop there for a second.
Go ahead.
So to reiterate what you said, there are opportunities to come participate in specific events,
Mhm.
and there's training for that, which consists of one evening of training or something like that.
Correct.
Per day.
For the one day.
For the one
yeah.
day deal. Okay,
Yeah.
so that's one opportunity that's available.
Yes.
And more?
Yep. And then we'll have some other opportunities the week before camp to help. Last year we had about 40 people from Compassion come and help us with stuffing. So every kid gets a memory book at the end of camp. So we take thousands of photos at camp and then print them all off and put together a photo book for them. Many of them don't even have photos of their family. And so this is a treasured possession by all the kids that they get this. And they also get a play-away. So if you've ever been to the library and they have books on play-away, Royal Family Kids is the second largest purchaser of playaways in the country. So the kids get all the camp music, all the dramas, the puppet skits, and the Bible stories that they listen to. That's how a lot of the kids fall asleep at night after they get home from camp.
Okay, so this is just a way to help generally.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you have enough photographers?
Yes,
Okay.
we do. Yeah.
Okay.
So
how about people to process those things, get them printed, turn them into the...
yeah, we have. So when we're at camp, our team is pretty exclusive at camp. So we have the photographers that'll go run to town and print those off.
Okay,
So we've got that, but we have needs for our support staff, backup big campers, royal treatment. So every night we give our staff a break, or at least the big campers, and we treat them royally with great food and snacks and drinks and stuff like that. We have people, I think, what other?
Do you have drivers or need for drivers?
We don't. We
Okay.
contract with a bus company,
Okay.
but there's a lot of support I'm just trying to think through all, because I need to check with my dean of men and dean of women to see what are some of the spots that we still
Okay,
have open.
okay, cool.
But
Anybody have any questions?
What is the age bracket of the kids that go, and in like the camp coming up in June, what's the average attendance? Like I'm sure it changes from year to year, growing, whatever. So how many kids are going to be there?
Yeah, the kids are 6 to 12 years old, and they graduate at 12. So every year we have probably 7 to 10 kids that we have a graduation ceremony for, and we have 72 kids that come to camp with us. 72. Yes. So we set that number first so we know how many staff we need to bring.
Where does the camp take place?
I can't actually tell you that. Sorry about that. No, but we're on our third camp. We love these guys. But our big, hairy, audacious goal for Royal Family Kids is to buy our own property. And then we can have there's 8 other Royal Family Kids camps in Colorado. So then we can all be there and then have this place for, kids who've been returned to bio families, foster and adopted kids in the, certain specific camps for that. But thank you for that. But we don't need that.
Is it just for El Paso County, or is Teller County involved with that too?
We try to serve El Paso County because we have about 300 kids in this age range that we could bring to camp. So once a kid has come to camp, we say once a Royal Family Kids camper, always a Royal Family Kids camper. So our first priority is to kids who've already been to camp. And then the new kids coming in are in foster care. So there's really a limited number for that. We wouldn't say no to Teller County, but we also want to make sure that we have kids who could be mentored here in town. So having somebody in Teller County, if we don't have a staff person that lives up there, would be hard because they have to go pick the kids up from mentoring club, go to mentoring club at New Life, bring them back home. That'd be dedication. But Teller County is trying to get involved with Royal Family. The funny thing is,
what information would we need?
Email, phone, whether you want steak or vegetable Wellington. And
Larry, if we've already signed up on registration, we don't have to do it again.
Okay. It's just that I don't want to miss anybody that wants to go.
So, Richard, as far as Teller County goes, we've had people interested, but they said, we're going to start our own thing. So we're not sending kids to Royal Family Kids Colorado Springs. I'm like, well, I haven't seen any movement on you starting Royal Family yet, so maybe you should send kids our way. So if you know people in Teller County, put a little bug in their ear. We wouldn't, like I said, we wouldn't say no to them, but
It's wisdom with a small W.
yeah, exactly.
Very small W.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can sign up online.
Yeah, and there's
Melissa, I had a question for you. I'm just curious.
I like you guys are in Royal Family Purple, by the way. Well done.
Yes,
Yeah.
question regarding, just curious, we used to attend New Life also. There was Royal Rangers. Is there any association with that?
No, I don't know anything about Royal Rangers.
Okay,
Yeah, Royal is the only
Royal
tie-in.
part. That's
Yeah.
why I was curious if there was, and that was for young kids there too. And
Oh,
they had
okay.
leaders out of New Life that led that.
Oh, okay. No, there's no association with them. But
Thank you.
Yeah.
Sounds like a great program for your
Thank
kids, by the
you.
way. Thank you.
thanks.
Any personal questions for Melissa? I learned something. I didn't
Oh,
know
good.
the history of your siblings. In
Oh,
general, I knew
yeah.
there was some adoption talk, but I didn't
Mhm.
know that.
Yeah.
It's funny how that finds expression in your career
Mhm.
and learning RX through Dane. And
Right, exactly.
It's amazing.
Well, so Compassion chooses a local nonprofit to support every year. And so they will do a fundraiser throughout the year to try and, they present a check at the end of the year. So last year they chose Royal Family. And it was 9 years ago that I had been on 2 missions trips, one to Peru with Compassion, and then another one to Gaza and Israel. And after I came back from the Gaza-Israel trip, I thought, gosh, first of all, it was a lot of money. And I worked really hard to raise the money to do that. But then what do I do the rest of the time that I'm here? Because I speak Spanish, so I was fine in Peru, but I don't speak Arabic, so I couldn't talk to people I could communicate with facial expressions and whatnot. But that's when I really thought, and there were a lot of issues with my youngest brother at that time, and I thought, gosh, I'm having a really hard time even liking my brother right now. But I mean, he was in jail, unemployed, in jail. I mean, it was just really stressful on our whole family. And I thought, I can't go overseas for 2 to 4 weeks a year and then come back here and feel like that's it. That's good. I'm good. I did my service for the year. And that's where I was really thinking, what could I get involved with that would be here locally? And that's thankfully when Dream Centers and Royal Family, God's like, okay, now you're ready to hear this. So that's been the cool part, is knowing, and we see these kids around town. We have a team Facebook page. So we'll say, oh my gosh, there was a sighting of Sam at King Soopers, and everybody's so excited. But it's fun to know that we're pouring back right into our community. So, okay. So any other questions, or thank you for having me here today. I really appreciate it. Yeah.
Curiosity question. Is there any follow-up with the kids? The concern is that they're finished at 12 with
Right.
the camps. What's happening to them after that? Do you know?
There's some camps that have started. With Royal Family can do a track program, Teen Reach Adventure Camp. My heart and who I am is much more for the little kids, but I'm waiting for someone to say I really want to own that part of it. I mean, that's a whole other set of issues, obviously, with teens. But we can only track them so far as we keep asking DHS about it. And then some of those kids, they've literally, they can't track. So we don't know what happens. Also, Royal Family Kids, a big part of what we do is helping. A lot of these kids are actually trafficked. So when you see those missing posters of these kids, you think, wow, what the heck? How are these 13, 14, 15-year-olds being kidnapped? Well, they're vulnerable foster children who are being groomed into, the sex trade. And so Royal Family, again, is trying to pour into identity in these girls and these boys to help keep them out of that I don't even know what you call it, institution, I don't know, depravity.
Sad.
So, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. I appreciate it. Oh, there's a hand up. Yeah. Death is the age limit. Oh, yes. So 18 and older. So 18 to 21 can be support staff, and 21 and older can apply to be big campers. But otherwise, not quite yet. No, we've tried to do a teen program, but I really want to make sure we have the adults taken care of first, and then we'll look at, and have a very strict teen program. But so far, unfortunately not. But, that week before, helping with that kind of stuff would be a great way to get teens involved. Not at camp, yeah.
So, okay, let's see here. I didn't hear, but I did step out some time frame if somebody wants to volunteer for one of those open positions.
Yeah, so we're going to be doing our last round of interviews probably on March 16th. So I need to make sure that we have interview space for that. But after the banquet, 2 or 3 weeks after the banquet, we'll be doing our last round of interviews. So if you're interested, I'd say, and the application probably takes about half an hour to fill out. And, we have to review everybody and really make sure, okay, who's a fit for that.
Will you have space at New Life, or could you use some here? Or?
Oh, that's true. We could potentially here. We usually use stuff at New Life downtown.
Okay.
So I just need to ask.
Yeah, just check. But if you need it as a fallback,
thank you.
Welcome to do that somehow.
Okay.
Okay, so this basket is sitting in front of Vicki. Let's see.
Checks you make out to Royal Family Kids.
If they're going to go straight to Royal Family Kids, they can. Or you can make it out to Joyland, and we'll cut her a check before the end of the day. I mean, before she goes home today. Me or her?
Me? What do I prefer? What does Melissa prefer?
Well, checks, I mean, it will come to us if you make it out to Royal Family Kids. But you make it out to Joyland, and then you cut a check to Royal Family Kids.
Okay, why don't we do that? Make it out to Joyland. And just put Melissa on the bottom. That makes it a little more work for Laurel. What, do you want to just write to Royal Family Kids?
It's still a nonprofit, so you're going to get the write-off at the end.
Okay, stop, Jan.
Yeah, it's a tax-deductible donation.
Okay, make it to Royal Family Kids.
Yeah, that way she can take it.
So do you have the one check?
I do.
Where?
I have it posted right now because I didn't know who to write it to.
Okay, so we write to, should we write The one from the church to Royal Family Kids?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't anticipating that. All right. So we're going to do something private for a minute. Talk among yourselves. That's good. Without raising your hand to make a commitment, I just want to know how many of you think that you might want to play a role in this organization, this camp? Yeah, me too. And then the dinner is an easy way to get started. And seriously, I'd love all of you to go. We'll just get as many tables as we need. We'll group us all together and act like crazies.
Great.
If it's appropriate.
Sure,
Try to behave
whatever.
when it's not. Dennis. No.
No, the dinner doesn't cost anything. Yeah, it just we're trying to figure out who's sitting where and what tables, and so online registration is
But there will
definitely
be
required.
an appeal to give. And
Yes,
an appeal
it's a
to
fundraising banquet.
Hold on, gotcha.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yep.
so here's $1,500
Oh,
for 3
thank
sponsorships.
you. That's awesome.
Okay, and then we're establishing a longer term relationship with Melissa over this. She has some. You've been doing this for 8 years.
Yes,
Volunteer.
nine since training.
Yeah, and
originally.
it's grown that it takes what percentage of your time, vocational time?
Yeah,
A
40,
lot.
50%.
So anyway, things are switching around a little bit so that Melissa can have some support to help do this. And we're working toward that, or at least our part in that as a church. So this is going to be an ongoing relationship. And again, relationships important. I was thinking about that passage at the end of James chapter 1, that this is the pure religion and undefiled is visiting widows and orphans in their distress and keeping yourself pure from the world. I had basically 2 thoughts about this that I wanted to sum up with. One was that, and last week we had a question. I think Jeremy and Amy asked a question about doing something practical. I went home and I looked at the definition. Practical is taking the idea and figuring out how to do it in real life. And this is a way to do this in real life. And seriously, your contribution of going to the dinner, listening, and being informed so you can spread it to your friends is just as big a deal as if you want to train and become a camper or volunteer for one of those other events like knighting. Or do you have somebody teaching painting?
What's that?
Do you have somebody teaching painting?
Not specifically. I mean, I have team leaders for each thing. So
Anything like that? Okay.
yeah. Birthday party. We have face painting at the birthday
Do you,
party.
do you
We
have all your face painters already?
I have no idea.
Okay.
My team leader would know that.
There we go. Yeah, 100%
Yes.
of this goes there. 100% of this goes to the sponsorship. I mean, we can do 2 if you guys can make it be 1,000.
Hey.
So anyway, so that's one. This is a magnificent way to get involved, and I really do encourage you to do so. And those 2 things are linked at the end of James, that we visit widows and orphans in their distress and keep ourselves pure. A lot of the religious nature of the church in our culture, in our life, is to try to make ourselves pure or keep ourselves pure out of motives like fear or performance or religious spirits or whatever. None of that works. And everybody here can raise their hand and go, yeah, I agree. It doesn't. But when you pour yourself in the lives of other people and allow Jesus to use you that way, that changes who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's one that I want to do. And then I had another point I was going to make. I don't remember.
Well,
what it
while
is.
you're thinking about
Yeah.
that, I think that's true. This has really been the most incredible team I've ever been a part of. And I always say the camp is like a literal opening of heaven for the week, because everyone is so single-minded to pour into these kids that it's hard to recover after camp. And I've never been in the military, but we've had a ton of guys and some girls too come who've been in the military. And, and they said it's almost like being deployed, and we're like this band of brothers working together to serve these kids, and then you come back and you're like, what just happened? Because you really are seeing God's face at camp, and it's the most profound.
Yeah.
It's the best, hardest week of your life.
Yeah.
That's what
I get, yes, Laurel.
Well, I have a giving thing.
Okay.
You can go ahead and make it.
Okay. No, that's okay.
Okay.
I'll remember.
Okay. I'm sorry. Facebook living at the same time.
Yes.
We're having issues as usual. So don't mind me. Okay. I'm going to keep filming Larry here for a minute. If you don't have checks or you have cash and you want a tax deduction for that, we have envelopes in this box over here that you can use. And then, yes, you'll get a tax deduction through Joyland. If you want to use a credit card, because unlike me, I don't carry checks or cash. If you want to use a credit card, we can run your credit card after service, and then Joyland will give you the tax deduction. Then we'll write a check from those.
Too, right?
Well, there's
you have cards?
Well, there's also, I put all the information on here. That one's more detailed.
Okay, perfect.
And that sheet there, there's all the links on how to give. So there's 2 different ways to give online. So we're Royal Family Kids. So we're using the New Life 501c3 status, and we're a DBA Royal Family Kids under New Life. So there's ways to give on a monthly basis, and there's ways to give and support people in their fundraising efforts, because we ask all our staff to help raise at least $1,000, because throughout the year we need around $90,000 to $100,000 to make Royal Family Kids work. So, yeah.
Okay, good. So if you want to write your credit card there, and there's a place for that, awesome. Or if you do Tithely, then that's good. Well, I just put guest speaker on it in Tithely. If you already have the Tithely app through Joyland, put guest speaker, and I will make sure that a check gets cut this week for that. Riley, what are you trying to tell me? Oh, Joel has something to say. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Is the power bar on?
So, you're so sweet.
This is Joel from Uganda.
Oh, hey, Joel from
Joel.
Uganda.
Hello, Larry. Are you guys hearing me?
Yes, we are, yeah.
Wow, I've been following what the lady and the institution are doing. What an amazing work of God going on down that side.
We have Royal Family Kids in Africa. I don't know if it's in Uganda, but I know there's about 5 camps in South Africa, and there's other countries that are involved. So,
yes, I put my hand simply because I wanted her to share the link such that we can share that on our social media platforms. Maybe a friend from wherever can come across the link and they can donate towards that. It's an amazing thing. So if they have like a link that we can share on social media with the people, or something like that. It's an idea that came into my mind. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to bring it up right now, but if they have like a link, we can share that on social media, or if they have a page, we can invite people to their social media platforms. Maybe 1 or 2, 3, 4 people, brethren, can contribute towards their cause. That's what I wanted to say.
We'll put the links on the Joyland page.
We will, and Joel will also, I think I'm off, right? We'll go ahead and I'll shoot that to you on Facebook Messenger as well. Thank you, my friend.
Yep.
Yeah, let's do that for a second here. Joel, if you got a pen, or we'll capture this on the feed. Can you get it, Riley?
Yeah, I'm gonna say yeah.
I think it's easier to focus a little further away.
Nah, we got it.
Okay, so this will put it on the video feed.
And I think I emailed you that PowerPoint, yeah.
Yes. I have taken a screenshot of that.
He just wants a shot of that.
Yeah.
Send it to him.
Yeah, I sure will.
A screenshot of it.
All right, that's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, the last thing I was going to say then is the thing we started with, which is you can take a lifetime of abuse and neglect, and in 3 days, the kids can start agreeing with their own worth if it's just presented to them. The reason is because we're not making it happen. We're not making those kids valuable. They already are valuable.
Right.
They just haven't had the occasion to know it. And so never underestimate the power of speaking the truth in love about people.
Is there a little more time to show this? Okay, there's this song that I have just fallen in love with that encapsulates Royal Family. Are you okay?
Sure,
if I play that?
absolutely.
Okay.
From rejected to accepted, from forgotten to remember, from the victim to the victor. Who we are is not the same, and the change is night and day. No longer orphans, now sons and daughters, worthy and wanted, we belong. We are crowned in dignity. We are heirs to majesty. We're made for victory. We're given authority to reign like kings and queens. We're royalty. We are. We're royalty. We are. From abandoned to exalted, from so broken to beloved, from the shadows to the light, from the dead brought back to life. Who we are is not the same, and the change is not in there. No longer orphans, now sons and daughters, worthy and wanted, we belong. Yeah. We are crowned in dignity. We are heirs to majesty. We're made for victory. We're given authority to reign like kings and queens. We're royalty. We are. We're royalty. Beneath our feet, when we see the way you see, we know we're chosen and redeemed. We are renamed, adopted in. We are kings in a kingdom with no end. We are crowned in dignity. We are heirs to majesty. We're made for victory. We're given authority to reign like kings and queens. Oh, we're royalty. We're royalty.
Yeah, so that's you said it right there. We know who these kids are, and we want them to know and be reminded and maybe told for the first time what's already in there. So yeah.
The first person singular of that statement is I am. And that's what the Holy Spirit is trying to restore our ability to say. And the devil is constantly telling us, I'm not, I'm not, I'm not, and we're not, and we're not. But we are. And I am. And that's our most direct linkage with who Jesus declared himself to be. And so, Father, I pray that, well, first of all, I thank you for the opportunity to serve and to be engaged in this magnificent effort to release the identity and to restore the hope of these kids. I thank you, Father, for the privilege of participating in any way we can. And I thank you for the honor of having Melissa as a friend for a long time, and now a partner in the transformation of lives and the spreading of the essence of the gospel, which is that we are in you and we are made whole. So, Father, I pray that you'd keep us moving in this and let this relationship and let this service develop as you lead us. Pray for a successful dinner, successful preparation for camp, and I pray for every one of the kids that are called by you and destined by you to be there. Transform their lives in Jesus' name.